Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, I got another story to share. And if you have a breakup story you'd like to share and get my personal take on, please visit writemac.com and send your story, and I'll get it back to you as soon as I can. And I also do live coaching, which is one-on-one video calls where we actually talk in person. And this takes it a step further. We dig deeper. We develop some kind of plan moving forward. And my goal is for you to get a little bit more clarity on your decision making moving forward. A lot of times we get stuck in the past and what has already happened, and we complain and we get in victim mode and we blame, but we don't think of the present and what we're going to do moving forward. And that's empowering. And that's where I'd like to help you with. That's what I'd like to help you with. Okay, so let's get right in this story. Hi, so basically I started dating a very close friend of mine from about 8 years, 3 months ago. We were getting very serious without conversations about how if it wasn't for me, she may have not even been alive, because I was always calling her to give her advice and being there just helped her through some hard times. Well, that's deep, right? I mean, you were with her, I'm assuming depression, stuff like that. So you weren't just a friend, you were a very, very close friend, right? Like you mentioned. Okay. I hadn't talked to her for 2 years and we got back in touch this year. So I absolutely love her. She's very smart. We would hang out almost every day, then end up talking on the phone for 4 hours every night. 4 hours every night. Wow. It was beautiful. Then I found out that that was actually someone who smoked weed, a lot of it. I did not know that, because she has medical issues, and I know you cannot smoke or drink when being on medication. Okay, so reread your stories out there just to make sure that your sentences make sense. It's not even just grammar. Then I found out that that was actually someone who smoked weed, that she was someone that actually smoked weed. Okay, weed, just like alcohol, people can do it and be okay on it. People can abuse it and become extremely lazy. That's one of the major side effects to me of weed, is being extremely lazy, unmotivated. But for people that have medical issues, it's also helpful in different areas. So, it depends on the personal use of the individual. A lot of times everyone wants to put it in a box, right? It's the same thing with alcohol. Some people can have a few beers. Some people can even go out on the weekend, have a few too many, but not drink again for another month. So I mean, it's different case by case. It only is an issue when it's affecting them getting shit done in their life and where they're headed, right? I mean, it's only a problem when it becomes a problem, if that makes sense. A lot of it I did not know, because she has medical issues. I know you cannot smoke or drink when being on medication. I don't know if that's true. I think there's certain medications where you can probably smoke weed. I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor, but I wouldn't generalize that. I also do not want to be with someone who smokes weed. All right, bam, cut and dry. Okay. I mean, I'm not against that. I'm from California, so the Bay Area, I mean, it's everywhere. It doesn't bother me at all, but the amounts that they're smoking or how they treat it could be another story. Also, it's just your values and your beliefs, and you don't like it. So it's not going to work then. And then you wrote, it's unnecessary. Okay, that's why. So I asked if she could stop. She argued with me for about 2 weeks and nothing. Bottom line is, you don't want someone to stop doing something just for you, because they're going to restart it. They're going to hold contempt. If she really likes to smoke weed and you're telling her not to, it's probably not going to work. It's probably going to be a deal breaker. And if she stopped just for you, down the road, she might start again. So she needs to look at it as an unnecessary thing in her own mindset. And a lot of times when I do these stories and when I do one-on-one live coaching, I'm not telling you what's right or wrong, because you already have an idea of what's right or wrong. Like, for example, smoking weed. I don't think it's wrong for someone to do it. I don't think it's unnecessary. I think it's a case-by-case thing. And I think that the individual should come to that decision, not you telling her, I want you to stop for us to have a relationship. That's just not a good way to get things going. I said, okay, well, how are we supposed to live together and do all the things we have talked about when you're smoking all the time? Well, maybe you're not supposed to live together then. She did it so much, she even told me she smoked every single time with her friends. My question is, when you guys are speaking on the phone for 4 hours every night and everything was beautiful and you weren't aware she was smoking, I mean, if she's coherent and she's active in society and she's able to hang out with you, so before you knew that she was smoking or you saw it, I mean, was she on the phone with you those 4 hours, possibly taking a couple tokes? I don't know. That's the question I'd ask her. That made me so mad. I said, is it not fun just being around them without having to smoke? See, this is just a values thing. She said it doesn't matter. I got so mad to the point where I said I was going to leave. She said she would stop and made a promise. She did stop for a little over a week until I said, hey, maybe we don't need promises. I love you. That's a great line. That's almost Hollywood-like. And soon as I said that, she started to smoke again. I gave her an ultimatum. Dun dun! I have an early video on ultimatums, and it basically, the relationship that I referenced quite a bit, that was one of my toughest breakups. I mean, we broke up for a variety of reasons, and we were going to break up eventually anyways, but the straw that broke the camel's back, not to be a cliche, was an ultimatum I gave, and it was over drinking, and going out with your friends and partying, and it didn't go my way. And once you do an ultimatum, let's be clear, all deals are off. You're stopping negotiations, which relationships are a negotiation. And the minute you go, all right, you have to do this or else I'm breaking up with you, you got to stick by that. And it really comes off as very controlling. And if they go the other way, you got to stick to your guns, because they're basically saying that whatever you're giving them the option of, they're going to choose the other thing. So he says, me or weed? That almost rhymes. She told me she was never going to stop smoking. Well, there's your answer. Clarity, clear, cut, and dry. She told me she was going to do it for the rest of her life. I said, so you're telling me you value weed more than me? Okay. She didn't answer me. This is something I actually can give you some perspective on, because I've been there. It's not necessarily that she values weed more than you. She loves you. You guys have been friends for a long time, 8 years. You even said that you helped her through some hard times. I don't think she's valuing weed. She's valuing the idea that you're pushing her, or you're the one deciding when she quits, over being in a relationship where you're going to constantly have this problem. So it's not just weed over you. It's the idea that you're able to force her to quit something she really enjoys also, if that makes sense. She told me she was going to do it for the rest of her life. I said, you're telling me about, okay, I said that already. She didn't answer me, and I got mad. I was so mad. Of course, when ultimatums go wrong, that's the thing about an ultimatum. When they go wrong, it hurts, because you're putting it on the line and you're hoping it goes your way. You're hoping they go, okay, I'll just quit, or and usually in ultimatums, like, you need to stop cheating, you need to stop drinking, you need to stop doing drugs. It's something that you feel really strong about, that you've had enough of, and that you think your partner has a problem with. And if your partner doesn't think it's a problem, then they find you controlling. And that's never attractive to another human being. And I'm not saying you're being controlling, I'm just saying what they feel. So, she told me she was going to, tell me weed value more than me, and I got mad. I was so mad. I got to see her a couple days later, and we had sex and talked. Yeah, because you're still connected. You don't really have a trust broken. It sounds like you're attracted to each other. You have a big issue with weed. And I would ask you, like, where's this coming from? When you were a young kid, or is there some friend of yours that got hooked on it? It's not just because she smokes it. What's your background that you're so negative on weed? And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, where's the root of this? Your feelings are your feelings, and weed is definitely not something that, if someone's doing it all the time and you're not doing it, it's just like if you're with someone that drinks all the time and you're not doing it, it probably isn't going to match up, right? I asked her again, and she said she wasn't going to change her mind, and it broke my heart. I couldn't help but to cry, because I was done with looking for a girl. She was the one. We spoke about kids, living together, doing stuff for my birthday in August. Okay, I have a good book for you to read. The Rational Male by Rollo Tomassi. I'll put that in the notes, hopefully, and you can ask me about it in an email. Anyways, in that book, this guy's a psychologist. He's a little bit of a alpha male type, but he's got good perspective, and he has a whole chapter on what he calls one-itis and people thinking that they found the one. And the way he explains it, I really like it, and I've never seen it put that way. I personally, there's just too many women in the world to think that there's only one. Is it difficult to find one that matches up with you and gets that trust and connection and attraction? It just takes time. That's the thing, is a lot of times so let's say you break up with this woman, you need to lick your wounds for a little bit, you need to heal for a little while, and then you need to start dating. And then when you start dating, you're not just gonna, oh shit, I just met, it's not the movies. It's all these movies, it's like a guy gets out of a relationship, gets the girl back, or gets a new girl within what seems like a fucking week, and she's a great match. It just doesn't work that way. It takes time. So this idea that she was the one is, I don't sign up to that. I think that it's about timing, and you could meet another the one in a different time in your life, and it might be a better one than this past one. I know in my relationships, I haven't been in a lot of serious relationships, but I've been in 4 serious boyfriend-girlfriend relationships, and each one at different times in my life was better for that time. But I never felt like, oh, this is the one. I mean, that puts a lot of pressure on it. That puts a lot of constraint on the idea that you're never going to meet someone else. And that's not going to be healthy for you moving forward, because she's not going to quit smoking weed. So, or anytime soon. She could down the road, but it's got to be her choice, not you making an ultimatum. And by the way, you giving her an ultimatum, I'm not against it, because what you were saying is like, I want to get really fucking clear right now. I don't know what line of work you are, but you're one of those people, it sounds like, you want to get clear. You've had enough of the murky shit. You've had enough of explaining why you don't like weed. You want to say, hey, it's me or that, and you got your answer. Okay. She was the one. We spoke about kids, living together, doing stuff for my birthday in August. And she actually wanted to give me her mom's engagement ring as a gift about 2 weeks before it all went bad. I told her to give it to me when she was ready. I said I would love to have it, but make sure you are ready to give that to me. As if she actually wanted to marry me someday. Well, she probably did, but she also wanted to smoke weed, right? So, I mean, and you were pushing her into that. So the fact that she did, but she wasn't willing to sacrifice that. And down the road, in 2 months, a year, or 6 months, she could all of a sudden go, oh yeah, weed's really bad, and she quit. But that doesn't mean she's going to, it's just timing. So that, to me, was too much. I loved the idea. I did so much for her, always took her out, always was there for her when she had a bad day. Her dog died and stopped doing what I was doing to be there for her and hold her. Well, don't feel bad that things didn't work out now. You're doing the right thing. You're being a good friend. You're being a good boyfriend. That when you do things like that down the road, when stuff like this happens, don't think she didn't appreciate that shit. I even buried the dog for her. I'm not laughing at the dog passing away, but I mean you're layering it on how great you were as a boyfriend, and I'm not questioning that. But it doesn't get away from the fact that she didn't want to be pushed into stopping her toking. She was broken because of the loss, and I got nothing. Sometimes you do something and you don't get nothing, but you should just feel good about doing the right thing for that dog. I lost the love of my life, honestly. No, you didn't. You'll meet another love of your life. Trust me. I don't know how old you are, but don't get so fucking dramatic on this. I'm going to be a little tough about this because I've been there. And this isn't going to serve you moving forward. Because I hate to date in general. Well, you need to change that attitude. That's just an attitude that you have based on having bad dates. There's something in your makeup that you believe that. But you can change that, and you can meet people outside of dating, just going on blind dates. What's your approach to dating? Are you doing online dating? Are you doing blind dating? Are you meeting people through work? I've talked to people like this ad nauseam in live coaching. Well, then you keep asking one more question, and then you get to the bottom of it. There was a guy I was helping out. This video is really long because it vibes with me. I've been there. And if you want to do a live coaching, I could really help you with this. But there was a guy that he was having trouble with dating, and he was an Indian guy that was a grad student in New York. And so being Indian, he had this really, what he perceived as a thick accent that he got made fun of for. And when I talked to him in the live coaching, his accent wasn't I know an Indian accent, right? And it wasn't too heavy, right? And the guy had a cool style and everything like that. He just lacked confidence. Well, he was hanging out at nightclubs, and I forgot what his grad degree was. Maybe computer science or one of those things. But he was kind of out of his element, and he was approaching women in nightclubs and trying, pick up lines and being really forward. And he got laughed at a few times for what he said his accent was. I said, well, why don't you change where you're meeting women? I mean, because he was telling me how he's not good at many things. And then I said, well, what are you good at? He goes, well, I'm an extremely good student. I have a 3.8 grade average or a 4.0 grade average. I'm really good at studying. And the last woman I met, I was actually her tutor. Bam, there you go. So he didn't date this woman. He met her where she could appreciate something great about this guy, and he was a good tutor in their field. And so I said, hey, why don't you start going to coffee shops or libraries or places where you study and brushing shoulders with other people that value studying? You see where I'm going with this? It's the demographics, okay? I can get into that later. I lost her. Okay, she was the one. No, no, no. This is a myth and falsehood that there's one person or soulmate out there for you. That's a movie type thing. I've seen too many breakups. I've seen, someone lose their partner due to death. There's just all kinds of ways. And if you have that attitude, especially early on, I'm not sure of your age, it's not going to serve you. You can meet someone else. You can meet a new one. Trust me. I lost her already. You didn't lose her. You gave her an ultimatum because you weren't going to accept someone that smoked weed regularly. And you know what? If that bothered you and that was going to affect the relationship long term, then you did the right thing for you. I know she will not change and stop smoking by because that's what her friends do. Well, you don't want someone that follows their friends either. It's awful. Awful is a strong word. Does she know I love her? She absolutely knows you love her. She absolutely knows she cares about you. If you guys were friends for 8 years, she probably didn't love me and didn't care. That's absolutely not true. You're being dramified. Sorry. Get away from this idea that she's just the one. She's a great girlfriend. You liked her. You cared about her. But she's not willing to quit smoking weed for you. Bottom line. Now, moving forward, like I said, check out that book. Consider doing a live coaching, because where you're at right now and your self-talk and the way you're running this narrative of what happened is not going to be healthy or serve you moving forward. You got to switch that. And I think you can, and you did the right thing by writing out your story and getting it to me to get some proper perspective. I hope that helps. Please visit writemac.com if you've got a breakup story to tell. Otherwise, have a good day or have a good evening or whatever you're doing out there if you're watching this video.